Hi. Hi, everyone. Good evening. How are we doing? Good evening. Good evening. Happy Sunday. How are we doing? It is another episode of Essence Pre-Conference series. I told you that it gets better, right? I told you that the person that we had last week, um, you know how we have forerunners, right? Well, John the Baptist came before Jesus. We'll keep having John the Baptist, so until we get to the conference itself. So it's been wonderful listening to the conversations, and everyone who has joined and participated in actuality have all written to me that they were able to gain a lot of value, gain massive knowledge, information, insights that have helped them to make some important recalibrations in their life and their careers. So I'm really excited. I'm really honored to be hosting this conversation. This is SS Become Person Conversation. So just in case you guys don't know what that's my name is Chioma Nnanna, and I'm the host of or the convener of the SS Conference, which is coming up on the 1st of June 2024. And the SS Conference is an initiative, an intervention, a project that seeks to intervene in the rise of obesity in our society in Nigeria. We just want to help to combat the fact that a lot of people are killing themselves and really nobody is talking about it. We only talk about self-harm, but we don't talk about depression. Because people don't even realize that they don't even realize the fact that they are losing themselves, that they are constantly losing themselves, becoming the people that they are constantly becoming. So that makes their expressions inauthentic in itself or in themselves. And they don't realize this until somebody else intervenes and shows them that, okay, you're getting this and it only gets worse because too much digital noise in the sound. Okay, 1 minute, I will have to switch to a different one. Please bear with me. Sorry about the noise in the background. Getting bedroom is already back. Hello, Mr. Nathan. Hello, Dr. Sam Harvard. It's always an honor.
An immense honor to have you on. Okay. Sorry, one minute. All right, I think we are good now.
This should have no sound in those annoying sounds in the background.
Okay, so um, because of all that has been happening in
The digital verse and okay, now good. Thank you very much.
thank you. That's how I would have continued to speak.
English, and I don't realize that the sound is not good enough.
Okay, so because of all that has been happening, people are constantly in a rat race, right? They are trying to be the next sensation, be the next Chimamanda Adichie, be the next Beyonce, be the next Sam Harvard, be the next big person, the next big thing. And as the days go by,
They are losing themselves. All they want to do is to be the best.
the second best version of whoever that they know is doing well, ignoring the goodness and the uniqueness and the beauty that comes with
Their individuality, right? That the best that I know this is cliche, but
it is not really, it has not lost value. Okay. the best you can be at being Chinaza favor is the second best Chinaza favor. I was telling the volunteers at the volunteers meeting that we had yesterday, I was telling them that you can try to be me or try to be anybody that you admire. And when you start talking, when you start behaving like them, people will tell you, oh, you talk like this person. And at first, it's going to make sense, it's going to feel good. Oh, I'm being likened to this person. Not just liking, they say that you will talk just like this person. You feel good at first, but 1 month, 2 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years into that identity that you have adopted that is not really yours, you would lose yourself, because over time people will keep telling you that, oh, you sound so much like this person, and at some point you'll be like, what about me? Right? If you are aware, if you are self-aware, you'll be like, what about me? What happened to my own expression? Why is it only always this person that is being talked about when I'm talking, or when I express myself, or when I say something, right? You don't want that to happen to you. So Essence is a project that is initiated to combat that, to help people, those who have kind of beholded and become the people that they admire without a touch or an expression of their authenticity, and those who are in line to do that but do not realize it, and those who are not yet on that path but have the likelihood or potential to get on that path. We are here to help you reconnect with your core, so that even as you gain new knowledge, even as you learn new, as you meet new people, even as you interact and get exposed to better things, um even as you get exposed to new ideas and all that, you still learn, you still interact in line with who you are, and with, still with regard to and respect to your essence. So before I bring on our guest for today, whom I'm very excited to have, somebody says that my sound is having some hiccups. Please let me know. How is it? What's going on? Is there a problem with the sound? Um, do I have to get off and come back? Please let me know in the comments. Hello, Prince Chilite. Hello, Esther. Hello, another Esther. Hello, Ayobami Suleiman. Please let me know, how is my sound? Is it breaking? Let me know if I can get off and come back on. Just let me know. What's up? What's going on? I'm not going to continue if I do not get that feedback. Okay, Sam Harvard says my sound is good now. Okay, that's a relief. I would want to hear from the other people also who are watching. All right, so before I bring on our guest for today, whom I am so deeply honored to have on this series, I would like to invite you to the Essence Conference 2024, happening on the 1st of June. Yes, the Essence Conference is, like I already shared the project. The conference is an offshoot of the project, right? And the goal is just to bring value to as many people as possible. That is why the tickets are not high end. The only ticket that is kind of maybe made is, it's still low ticket, but made for some people and high for some people, and even nothing for some people, is the training, the Essence training, which is coming up on the 2nd of June. But for the Essence conference taking place on the 1st of June, we have two major tickets. Okay, we have the standard ticket and we have the premium ticket. The standard ticket was added, the category was added because we got to know that some people could not really afford the premium ticket. So the standard ticket gives you access to the conference in person. Okay, some people were kind of confused about the standard ticket. Is it virtual? Is it physical? It is both. If you don't want to come, if you cannot come physically, the standard ticket gives you access to the event virtually. and it also gives you access to the event physically. Okay, so the only thing is that you get to access the event, whether physically or virtually, and you get to get the event recordings. All right. Um, Another one, the premium ticket is the ticket that gives you access to worse than the standard tickets, but also gives you access to conference material, that is jotter and pen, and then my book, which will be launched on that day, Dear Young One, second edition of my book, Dear Young One. The book itself is 10,000 naira. Um, but if you pay, you get the book, you get the materials and all that. Then, if you want to be a part of the Essence Bootcamp that take place on the 2nd of June, that is a day after the conference, with Mr. Gochukwu Omogo as our guest trainer, then you have to pay 50,000 naira. And trust me, that is a steal for whatever you're going to be gaining on that day. You will come here sitting as, why did you peg this at this price? Because even if I paid 500,000 for this value, I would still be satisfied with what I have gotten, right? If you want to be a part of Mr. Godfrey's training, you have to pay over 1 million naira. But my access is your access, like DDK would say. So I was able to, I'm privileged to be having him as a co-trainer at the Essence Bootcamp, and it's just 50,000 naira for you to chart a cause for your life that you'll be proud of, to recalibrate your life, to reconnect to your core, to embrace your essence, to fully live out the potential that you're capable of. He would say, Mr. Gochko would say, your capacity is different from your capabilities, right? A lion, I cannot forget this. I met him at Wealth Creation Conference on in August last year in Abuja, where I went to speak. And he said something that stood out for me. I have not forgotten it, where he made a distinction between capacity and capability. He said capacity is what you're born with, it is what you're capable of, right? It's what you can do, is what you can do if you grow. But capability is what you have been able to build yourself to be able to do. So he used the example of a lion. He says a lion, a baby lion has the capacity to roar, but if it does not build the capability to roar, it will not be able to roar, right? Your capacity is kind of endless, almost limitless, right? But your capability is how much you'll be willing to grow yourself, to expand yourself, to stretch yourself, so that you can be as much as you can be as possible. Because you might even be all that you can be, but you can be as much as you can be as possible. So you want to listen to Mr. Gochku. He will be there on the day of the Essence conference. And then he will also be there during the Essence bootcamp. Who are we having at the Essence conference? In case you did not know, we have these amazing set of people here. We have Mr. Gochukwu, we have Yotunde Bankole Bernard. All right. Yotunde Bankole Bernard is somebody we call the identity coach. She's YBB. She's amazing on all levels. She's a woman that I respect so much. I love so much. I've learned so much from her. The depth of her knowledge and understanding baffles me every single time. And she's the best person to take on the topic that she'll be taking on that day about soulful leadership, about identity. And you want to sit and listen to her talk. So if you're listening to me and you've not gotten your ticket, you'll be doing yourself a very big disservice if you've not gotten your ticket. So you want to go get it. If it is worth it for you, you cannot tell me that you don't have the funds. If it is worth it for you, you can, speak to people and get them to help you pay. I remember paying for an event. Is it recently? Some months ago. I was very low on cash and I needed to pay for a particular course. I looked around. How do I raise this money? I said, let me ask, and I asked somebody, please, I have this event that I need to, this course I need to get. I need to get access to this community, and this is the price. Would you please help me pay for it? And he did. He helped me to pay for it, and I got in. I've just been given access to the community, and I cannot wait to start exploring. So imagine if I was like, oh, I cannot pay, and you have a network of people that can help you pay. You don't feel like you are handicapped. If you don't ask, you'll not be able to get. And for somebody like me who doesn't really like to ask, it can be a problem, but I've learned to ask. If you don't ask, you will not be given. All right. So we have Mr. Gochku, we have Yetunde Bankole Bernard, we have John Obidi. All of you know John. Well, let me not say all of you. Most of you know John Obidi. If you if you listen to him, you will understand what I'm talking about. You know, he was taking us on a topic on innovation, challenging conventions, and for borderlessness and innovative um, thinking. So you want to be a part of that. I cannot wait for his session as well. Then we have myself. Yes, I'll be sharing a little bit because it's not about me. Whatever I want to share about the Essence conference is going to be taking place during the Essence bootcamp. But I'll be sharing a snippet during the Essence conference. Then we have Salem King. Salem King is one amazing human being that I've been privileged to meet on the online space. He is one of the most brilliant content creators that I know. He's been able to carve a niche for himself. He's been able to do so well for himself as a content creator. And on the day of the Essence conference, he will be taking us on the topic. I don't remember the topic verbatim, but he'll be taking us on a topic that relates to creative brilliance. So if you want to express yourself authentically, you want to function from a place of wholeness and full awareness of who you are and what you're capable of, so that you can create brilliantly, right? Of course, you can get inspired by other people, but you will not, abandon or betray the creativity that God has put in you to, dominate and to inspire your world. So Salem King will be there. I cannot wait. And in fact, all these people, apart from Mr. Gochuku um, and who else? Apart from Mr. Gochuku and Jonobidi, I've not seen all these people in person. So it would be such a pleasure to get to meet them, and I cannot wait. I really cannot wait. Then we have Edirin Edewo. Edirin Edewo is an amazing human being. Also, all these people blow my mind. I am so thankful that they accepted to be part of the Essence conference. Edirin is going to be taking us on how to find and flourish in your place of genius. She has been able to do this like effortless. Sometimes I wonder how she's so soft spoken, but how is she so impactful? She has this soft fierceness, this subtle fierceness to her expression that on the shallow level, you think, oh, she's not doing so much. But if you follow her, you'd see the trajectory of her path, and you'll be amazed at what she's able to do. So she'll be teaching us how to find and flourish in your place of genius. I think there was a program that she organized that I was a part of around finding your genius, and it was very, very impactful. It was part of how I figured out to an extent what I wanted to do with my life, right? So you want to be a part of it so that you can find your place of genius and kind of, not kind of really flourish there. And then Okoye Joma Dita will be there also. Joma is my bosom friend who is audacious, one of the most audacious persons I've met. She's going to be taking us on how to balance youthfulness and youthful ambitions so that you can have a balanced expression of who you are and not lose yourself. These are all beautiful people that you want to meet at the Essence conference. You don't want to miss it for anything. So if you've not registered, go to www. Let me project that on the screen. Just go to www.essenceconference.com to register. See it going down there. www.essenceconference.com to read more about the conference. And then if you want to you can pay automatically and then you're rerouted to our WhatsApp community, or you can pay into the account details showing on your screen there and send your ticket to your proof of payment to tickets.essence@gmail.com. Tickets.essence@gmail.com. It's going to be amazing. The value that we have put together, it is overfull. It's going to be too much for some people to even handle, but That's why you'll be having the recording. So if you, even if you will not be able to make it to the event physically, you can pay and watch the recordings when you are able to. Right, we'll be having media coverages, television coverages. We have red carpets. It's a whole experience. So you don't want to miss this for anything. Go get your ticket. I cannot wait to see you there. I cannot be cooking this food and then I'll eat alone. Go and get your ticket. Let us, find our essence. Let us rediscover on earth our essence. Let us embrace it and, fully manifest it. Okay. Enough English spoken. Right about now, I will be inviting my guest on stage already. Unfortunately, the phone that I'm using for this, I had planned to use the other device for the stream, but the phone I'm using for the stream right now is where I have her bio sent. So I'm so sorry that I'm not going to read her bio out. But Chioma Nnanna is the coach with results, like we call her. She's so audacious. That's one of the things that stand out about her for me. She is so audacious. She's that person that her expression, even if you are not careful, her expression might intimidate you. I feel that I'm kind of intimidated by your light, but I love it because she challenges me with the way she expresses herself. Shoma is an executor. She doesn't give time for excuses. She doesn't give time for procrastination. She just thinks it and she executes. You tell her this is what we need to do. She's doing it immediately. She doesn't even think it too much because if you waste time thinking about something, you might end up not doing it because you will now overthink. So Chioma is one amazing young woman that I've been privileged to watch her expression of her genius, and it is such an honor to have her on here. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, with a clapping ovation, and you know how we do it. I want you to set that comment section on fire. The clapping ovation with fire and brimstone. I mean, the good fire and the good brimstone. Help me and join me to welcome Chioma Nnanna. I'm not going to bring her on. I'm not going to bring her on stage until I see that you are actually excited for us to have her. If you're excited, let me see in the comments. And before I bring her on, why have you not shared this? Why have you not tagged people to be a part of this? Why have you not invited people? I used to tell you guys, if you are the only one gaining knowledge, you're a village person. You know, you're a village person because why do you want to be the only one to gain freedom? Why do you want to be the only one to see? You'll be um, the only man with vision in your whole village. That means everybody, you'll be at the beck and call of everybody because they cannot even help themselves, right? So invite your friends, get your friends to be a part of this. Those of you watching on YouTube, copy the link and share with your friends, your network. Let them join, let them participate. This is going to be amazing. Chioma is one lady that I really respect. When she starts to talk, you understand what I'm talking about. But if you're excited, share this video. If you don't want to share to your timeline, tag your friend. Just get anybody that needs to be here to be a part of this, so that they can participate and gain their freedom to some extent before the Essence conference proper. Okay, Chuku Roslyn, I see your fire emoji. Yes. Adorin Esther, see you. You're excited. Anointed Ikeji, you're excited. I love that. Ayobami Sulaiman, you're excited. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without wasting your time or without further ado, let's make welcome Chioma Nnanna. Look how beautiful she looks backstage. Let's go. Let's go. Hi, sis.
Good evening, Favor. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, such an honor to be here tonight. I've been following the series, especially the one that we had Victoria Undu, and it was so powerful. So, before anything else, I want to just commend the great work you're doing, putting together this, even the ideation to sit down and think about organizing something of this magnitude. I'm mind blown. the respect and honor I had for you has
Yeah.
gone way over the roof. You might not really understand the value of what you're doing right now. I know you get the value of what you're doing, but you might not understand the magnitude of the impact you're having in people's lives. Because there are people who would watch this that you might never meet,
Yeah.
but you've sown seeds. I think I made a post recently about sowing seeds in farms that I might never come across, but they would yield fruits, and someone hungry would eat from that seed and would have strength to go and plant somewhere else. So there's a ripple effect that you might see a part of what you're doing, but not the full big picture of the impact you're creating. So for this, I celebrate you and Essence Conference. This success already. I've seen the pre-conference conversations and the impact has made so far, and I'm just really excited and honored to be here tonight. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Chioma is the please. I'm so sorry that I could not read your bio. Could you please introduce yourself to the audience before we get started? Okay.
Okay. Whenever it comes to introducing myself, it's kind of like a hassle because I wear
I
many
get.
hats. There's so
Yeah.
much I do, and to summarize it, I would say I'm a writer, I'm a speaker, I'm a poet, but I'm also somebody who is very passionate about social impact, especially when it comes to youth empowerment. And that is why we have CIB Africa, where we organize empowerment initiative for young people. The latest one we did was the Millionaire Idea. And what was the goal? To empower at least, we did a program for 50,000 African youths, but we focused our core work on just top five people. And the goal was to help them to generate 5 million naira within 1 year. Like each of them generates 1 million naira within a year and give seed capital, free mentorship for a whole year. And at the end of the conference, at the end of the project, I'm actually very proud to say that that maiden edition we're able to generate over 13 million naira with these young entrepreneurs, all young people. Some of them are still undergraduates. So, and also I do, apart from working with youth, I like to work with teenagers too. So we have the Yagi, Young and Getting It Right initiative, where we go to secondary schools to have real conversations with people, just like what you're doing now. Now we do it in person. We go to schools, have conversations. I believe that it's a waste of a mistake if somebody else goes ahead to make that same mistake. So I go ahead and share my mistakes with them, and I go ahead and share the things that have made me who I am with them too. And we've done this in Lagos, in 3 schools in Lagos, 3 schools in the southern part of Nigeria, and just 1 school in the east. So we plan to take it to every state in Nigeria and then beyond Nigeria, that's other African countries. I think that's the best summary I can give so far. Just someone who loves what she does and made it into a career. That is who I am right now.
Why are you called the coach with results?
Because I love results. I don't believe in working without having anything to show for it. These days people kind of like to say, I've been working on this for 5 years, I've been writing this book for 6 years, or I put in so much effort into this, but they can't show results for it. I see that as wasting my time. I see that as bragging, empty bragging. So if I put in effort into something, I want to see results. And when I train people, I'm focused on seeing results. Maybe because as a trainer, I've heard a lot of stories, I've seen a lot of things. People say they attend trainings and you're a writer, you went for a writing training, you can't even, you're still writing like you're still an Amalekite, you're still an Amanda. What's the point? No. You're a public speaker, you go for a public speaking training and you can't still make a video. You're a spoken word artist, you went for a spoken word training, you can't still make a spoken word video. So I prefer results, and I got that title because I ensure my trainings are very practical. So if you come for my writing training, you get to write. My public speaking training, you have to make videos, you have to go live, you have to record videos, practice public speaking in itself and get reviews. As a spoken word artist, come for my spoken word training, you actually have to produce a spoken word video. So you are leaving the training with results, with a track record that would boost your confidence to try out future endeavors. That is why I got the name because all my students they have something to say, oh, I got this from this training, not that she came to tell me her life story. So I've gone for those kind of trainings before. You go for a training and all you're
Yes,
hearing is I did this, I did that, I did I like geez.
you're just bragging.
Thankfully,
Okay, give me
I think I've
practical
encountered that
steps.
only once. And I wonder who
Mm,
trained them that way. I think we have a problem in our generation today called the bandwagon mentality. Once they see one
yeah,
person doing something, whether or not it sits well with them, whether or not it makes sense, they want to just imitate it because so and so guru did this in his class and they just imitate nonsense. I like to sift
yeah,
things. The fact that you admire somebody does not mean you have to imitate every single thing they do. You sift through it and see if this thing is worthy of you. Okay, they might do it and get away with it, but it doesn't mean it is right. So you have your own values, you have your own judgment, your own scorecard through which you
yeah,
weigh all the actions you want to take, and I do that to make my
yes,
choices.
yes,
I just really hope I'm
yes.
clear because I'm using an earpiece.
We can hear you. We can make sense of what you're saying. I think that's all that matters.
Okay.
Yeah. You on. It's an honor to to have you here. A very big honor to have Chioma Nnanna.
Honor is mine.
Y'all, it's Chioma Nnanna. Thank you so so much.
Pleasure is mine too.
So let's get on to the conversation, prompt conversation. So I will be asking you a couple of questions. And before I go ahead, I have to say that all the speakers that have come on this show, these are the same questions I asked them. But interestingly, they have all given very unique answers. And that showed me that I actually picked the right speakers, the right persons to have these conversations with. Because if I hadn't done that, if I had just invited just about anybody, we'll be saying the same thing. It's not like essence is that broad a topic that it could be a lot of things, but the perspectives all differ. The expression and the presentation of what essence means to every person kind of has their own different undertones. So I am really, really excited to hear what you're going to be sharing with us tonight. So, um, what did Sophia just say? Sophia, good Lord. She said, I've noticed that ladies with foreheads are very intelligent and resourceful. Don't mind me, I'm gaining a lot. Just got distracted. The shining forehead. Oh, good Lord. Um, you are wonderful. You're wonderful. So before our guest comes on, I just want to get you ready and excited because it's going to be amazing. See, we've not even started talking, and she's already spitting value. Chuma is a person of value. You cannot have a conversation with her, and it's not goal oriented. It's not value oriented. She doesn't have time for gossip and all those other um, time wasting engagements. You talk with her, it's value, it is delivery. What can we do? What solution can we bring onto the table? She's back and she's going to be joining us right now. You're welcome back, my lady.
I'm so sorry. I got knocked off. I don't know what happened.
You don't have to be sorry. I get it. We're in Nigeria. We're in Nigeria. And because we're in Nigeria, there
Third
is
world
power
challenges.
supply actually. There's power supply in my area, but because we're in Nigeria, I don't trust them to keep the power supply on till the conversation is over. So I had to go turn on the generator and connected my power supply so that I'll be the one to deliver the power supply to myself. These people, they can break your heart in the most unlikely situations. So you're very welcome, my lady. Let's get back to the conversation. So we are discussing essence, and I'd really love to know When you hear the word essence, what comes to your mind? What is essence to you? How would you describe essence? Some of the speakers we've had here have given different just definitions, but I want to hear from you. What is essence to you?
Okay. Okay, I'm back. I think about the qualities that make. Give me a moment.
Okay,
Let
take your
me.
time.
Okay, I think it's think about essence. I think about qualities that make up a person. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Am I still on, please? Okay, so I said
Yes, you are. We can hear you. Please go ahead.
qualities that make up a person. Those things that make you person. Those qualities that differentiate A from B. And I like to teach. I like to be very practical. A teacher would always be a teacher. I apologize for the noise around. I'm outside. I have to make sure. I have to be here to ensure there are no hiccups. So I apologize for the
No
noise.
problem.
So I said
No
the
problem.
things that make a person and the things that differentiate you from others. For example, I love cakes. But we have different types of cakes. We have vanilla
Yes,
cake,
Chioma,
we
you
have
love
red velvet
cakes.
cake,
I
we have
agree. I agree.
we ate what was that cake we ate at what is that one? Next level.
But
It was a
next
cupcake,
level.
right?
Was the cupcake. You finished two
Next
cupcakes. I can't
voices.
forget.
I love
I
cakes that
can't
much. So
forget.
we have different types of cakes, different flavors. But what differentiates a vanilla cake from a red velvet cake is not just the ingredients, it is also the process. All right. So to I don't know if this adds anything to my illustration, but I made sure I got a red velvet cake to show you, just to drive home my point, right? So you can see one of the things that can you okay, you can see it. It's red.
Wow.
Have you ever seen a red velvet cake that looks yellowish?
No.
You would the first thing that makes you know it's a red velvet cake is the color, right? So that's one of the things that
Yes.
makes it a red velvet cake. The color, the process. Because you could have all the ingredients and make it in a different way, it will not give you what you want. So the color, the ingredients, the process, all these things make it up. So for a human being, I think I believe our essence is the qualities that make us, the qualities that make me Chioma Nnanna, those qualities I possess, my experiences, my environment, what it has come together to teach me, to inculcate in me. What do I mean by this? If I was born in a different environment, if I was born in different environments, the Chioma that you know would be different. If Chioma was born in India, the Chioma you know would be different. So it's not just about what I
Yeah.
was born with, it's about what my environment has molded me into. All of these make me me. These things make me me. What I've been exposed to, they form the way I think, right? So the way I think differentiates me from another person. And also, apart from environment, I believe in nature and nurture. So nature and nurture, all these two things come together to form your essence too. Because they are things I'm born with and they form a core part of who I am. I think this nature would play a bigger role in who I am. I think this is a very huge debate anyway, so let me not go deep into nature versus
It is.
nurture
Let's not
because
go
that's a
there.
very big debate.
I hold a different
Um,
perspective. That yeah. Let's not go there.
right. I know it caused a lot of ruckus when we did psychology in school.
Yeah.
So I want to stay clear of those waters. But I'll say something. It's the things you were born with and your environmental influence. influence. All these things come together to form me. For example, there's the way I express myself, the way I talk. There is a mindset I have about my identity. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean, how do I put this? It's not something that would make me superior to you. It's just something that would make me different from you. We could do the
Yeah.
same thing and they would be equally brilliant, but there will be a distinct mark that Chioma did this and Favor did that. I entered a writing competition some years ago, and there was going to be a voting process, and people would vote blindly because they would not attach the name of the writer to each story. And then one of my friends went to the site to vote. He did not know which story was mine. And then he came back to me and said, "This one is your story." I was wow. They said, "I know the way you write." So there is just the way each writer writes differently. Each person has what makes us different. And it's not just one thing. I said qualities. Because most times people
Yeah.
tend to think it's just one thing that makes them them. That's limiting your uniqueness. No, it's not one thing. It is not just the red color that makes red velvet cake. I'll keep going back to cakes. I like cakes. It is a
I
combination of
get it.
things. And when we come to that awareness and we understand these things and see them as advantages and not a disadvantage. Because some people are self-aware, but then instead of it making them more confident or more audacious, they become less confident. They begin to feel they are less than other people. They want to be other people. No. When you are self aware and you know these things that make you, these things that you see them as your strengths, right? Of course, not everything would be an advantage, but those areas that are your strengths, you focus on them. I think that's my biggest. Oh, should we tell our secrets to the world? It's one of the reasons why we have conversations like this to give a little bit of tips here and there. I think one of
Yeah.
my advantages is that I'm able to push my strengths more. I'm able to weigh in on my strength. I'm able to take full advantage of my strength. If I find that I'm good at something, I'm going to suck the life out of it. It's going to be what I will put out there. And you're like, Choma is amazing. Choma is a superhuman. No, Choma just understands what works for her and lays well to that thing. If I find that I can dance to a particular song, that might be the only song I'll dance to. And I will beat everybody at that song. And you think Choma is the best dancer? No. Choma is just very great at that dance and she dances it most times. Instead of me saying, let me go and look at that other dance, no, I will beat you at my winning game.
Yeah.
All right, so I think I'll pause here and allow you to steer the conversation.
Hmm. That was a grand opening. That was a very grand opening. I love. So you see why we're having these conversations because of the different perspectives. We are saying the same thing. We're talking about essence, but with the way we are talking about it differ, and the insights because we'll
Mm,
be having different experiences. It's just it blows my mind. I'm the host, but I'm sitting here and I'm like, that is really interesting. And then there are some things I would wish somebody would say but they didn't say it. I'm like, okay, maybe this insight or this understanding doesn't resonate with this person. That's why they didn't talk about it. But you mentioned something that I have also wished somebody said on this conversation, in this series. And that is your essence is not just what makes you you, but what makes you different from another person. So we did personality in psychology, and they say it is what defines you. It is how you are yourself. It's how we are similar and how we are different from, you know, every other person, right? Your essence is that beauty that you have. It is It is just like you said, the qualities, because people will be like, I want to find my essence, and then they're looking for that one thing that is their
One
essence.
thing.
You will look for the rest of your life, you will not find that one thing, you know. Or it's like going to somebody who has a company that produces hair products, and you some people have told this when I was brand ambassador to Abby Naturals. They would go to her and they would tell her, Abby, I want you to give me that product that grew Tina Favors hair. You know, give me that product that is helping Tina Favors hair to grow, that particular product. So tell them there's no one particular product. These are combination of products that work, that help to retain moisture. If your hair is dry, it's not going to grow now. So she deep conditions, uses the right shampoo, she uses the right conditioner, she uses the right hair butter. It is not one, there's no one magic product that grows her hair. They did not believe how. They thought that there was a particular product, and that's the route that a lot of people take when they want to maybe discover themselves, when they want to embark on this journey of self-discovery and awareness. So it is not one thing, like she said, it is a combination of qualities that make you you. Okay. If you now want to call
Mm.
those combination of qualities one name, that one is left to you. Because you shall want one thing, but find all those qualities and call it one thing. I think you'll be able to sleep at night with that. If you take that route. Thank you so much, Choma, for sharing that. So I would really love
My
to know.
pleasure.
I'd really love to know. And I love the part where you said you zero in on your strengths. A lot of people, when these things are what we say every time, but it kind of feels like it gets over the head of some people, right? Or it enters this ear and it leaves through the other. When you discover yourself, and not you see, you for the rest of your life you continue to discover yourself, because you cannot know yourself all in one day, right? But the awareness you have of yourself at every point in time, they are good and they are bad. Chinazvel has some flaws. I have some weaknesses. One of my biggest weaknesses is that I focus on my weaknesses, right? I used to a lot focus on my weaknesses, and that is a weakness in itself, right? But I have so many amazing qualities that I don't even look at, because my weaknesses seem to be bigger than my strengths, right? So because of the fact that I used to focus and you know um just continue to pay attention to my weaknesses, I become self-conscious without
True.
capitalizing on the strengths that I can actually utilize and maximize for the life that I want to live. Now, that doesn't mean that I will not work on my weaknesses, but focusing on my strengths while working on my weaknesses is the best way to go about this. But many people, like the former me that I'm now working on, would focus on the weakness and be flirting with the strengths, and that does not lead us anywhere. So she just shared with you now one of her secrets is focusing on her strengths and capitalizing on it, doubling down on it. You are good at something, you are good at a particular kind of dance, just like she said, please dance that dance. If that dance, that's it, go to American Got Talent and dance that dance there. It is what you are good at. Don't try to copy my own kind of dance when you don't have the flexibility or the capacity for
And you can
that
dance
kind of
that dance in a thousand different ways so you don't get boring.
of course. Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Now that would need more explanation. In fact, it will need to be broken down. But if we take that route, we'll remain on this definition now, and it's 1 hour, and we're not done. So I'll let that hang there while we move on to the next question. All right. So, Chema, you are a very audacious
All
person.
right.
I've always said it. It's one of the things that stands out about you for me. You're very audacious. God of mercy. You are audacious. Your light shines so bright. You are so authentic in your expression. It's admirable. So sometimes when I feel like I tell you now that you inspire me sometimes when I feel like, Chinaza, you're already doing too much, or maybe I feel tired, I just go to your timeline. First few posts, I'm back to whatever it was I needed to do. Because I'm like, Choma is doing this. I have to, I have no excuse, you know. So I would really love to know, how have you always been this audacious? Have you always lived fully? Let me not say fully. Have you always lived to this extent in the fulfillment or in the fullness of your essence? Or was there a point where you got to and you had to recalibrate your life? Let me explain. At some point in our
Okay.
lives, we can
Thanks.
let me explain so that everybody gets the question before you answer. It's been this. Okay. If you have always been this audacious, if you've always been this go-getter, I'd really love to know about your childhood, about your background, because that's where it starts. Point, decided to chart a different course for yourself, got an enlightenment or an awareness that changed your perspective. I'd really also love to know you that. Can you hear me? So
I can
please
hear you.
go ahead. Yes, please go ahead and answer.
Okay, so I'll share a story, and I think it will tie everything together. So when I was a kid, right from when I was small, I'd been outspoken in class. Okay, I might have been very introverted, but when it comes to class, I understand that my parents have paid my school fees, so I have every right to ask questions and get answers. So I was that kid
Okay.
who would raise her hand 1 million times to ask questions. I was that kid who would raise her hand 1 million times to answer questions. I was very, very engaging whenever our teachers were teaching. But then something happened in secondary school. I think we were in SS2, no, SS3. Something happened. Somebody made a comment about me being a busybody. Like, I like to show off, I like to act like I know it all. I don't even remember the exact comment now to show you. This thing is very funny. Oh. The things we take too seriously that makes us stop shining our light in the years to come, we'll not even remember those things. They don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. This is just lesson number one. Please, anything trying to pull you down, anything trying to make you stop shining your light, are you not giving them way too much importance? Will they matter in years to come? Because now I don't
Yeah.
remember who said that thing. I don't remember what she said, but I know that I felt bad, and I decided that I was going to stop talking too much. I was going to reduce the way I raise my hands in social gatherings and just keep to myself. And then I was in a club in school. I was in the anti-corruption club. We had a club in my secondary
Yeah.
school called Anti-Corruption Club, and I was once their vice president. So one time we had um it's not just in my school. They had an organization. I don't know if it was the international organization that came to visit my school, and then they had a talk with we the members of the club. And while they were asking questions, I was just very quiet that day. So one of my classmates was busy answering questions, and then that was it. It ended. I didn't think much of it. Give me a moment, please.
Okay.
All right, sorry, I'm outside, so there's a whole lot going on
No
here.
problem.
So I didn't
No
think much of
problem.
it until a couple of days later. I was in the staff room. I was the head girl then, so I used to rapport with the staff. rapport with my teachers. I was always in their staff room, but I was not in my class. I was like a second teacher. So I went to the staff room, and one of our coordinators of the club called me and said, Chioma, what happened? I was confused. What do you mean, what happened? She said that after that meeting, the delegates that came from outside told them that they had an international conference outside Nigeria and they wanted to pick a student. And this student was the person that answered, that was very interactive that day. And the person was talking, they were so impressed. And then in her mind, she automatically assumed that it was me because that fits my description. Like if I were in school, I was that student. You would notice me anywhere. So she was thinking it was me. She was like, is it Shoma? You're like, no, 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 no. And then they mentioned somebody else's name. And she was so shocked that, okay, why not Shoma? That was why she was asking me what happened that day. I was like, and it felt like someone poured cold water on me to see something that I would have really wanted leave my hand. The one day I decided not to be myself and it slipped. The one day I decided to listen to what people would think of me,
Hmm.
I lost it. And that was the day I made up my mind that I don't give 2 cents. Please get sunshades. I was going to be me unapologetically. I was going to be me 100%, the best me I can be. Because being me would has opened more doors, and not being me made me lose something so nice. So that was a major turning point for me. That was a major life event for me that made me embrace who I am holistically. Whether or not it made me friends, whether or not people liked me or not, I was just going to be me because I had seen what could happen when I'm not me, and it is not nice. So I learned to embrace me, to be me. So that's one thing with essence. The day you decide to listen to people and stop being who you are, that's when you might actually lose the benefits that come with being originally you. That thing that you are thinking people are complaining about that makes you you might be what people are looking for to give you the opportunity you are banging heaven's door for. The answers are within you. You are just dimming your light. Like you said, you can never be the original of another person, but you're always the best you. To somebody else, if you try to imitate another person, you would always just be a second class of that person, a cheap imitation. And people don't want cheap imitations. Look at the art world now. How much are cheap imitations worth? They are worthless. But when you have an original, you have gold. You have a timeless artifact to your hand that just keeps increasing in value as the years go by. That was a major lesson for me to say, oh, Choma, I'm going to embrace myself. So over the years, I kept doing that. I kept doing that. Even at times when I fail, I say I look for how to improve myself, not how to stop being myself. There's a difference between just being yourself and improving on yourself, improving who you are. That is what I've been doing. I've been doing more self improvement to ensure that the light I have is shining bright. Because have you seen a lantern before that has these dark coals around it? It's giving light to the room, but cleaning that glass, oh my goodness, and it should radiate. So what I've been doing over the years is cleaning the glass, so my light can what radiate brighter. I think that story just does summary to the question you asked me, right?
Yes, it does. It does. Absolutely.
That was
100%.
it for me. So nothing else could change my mind.
Wow. That's interesting. Very interesting. Because thank you for sharing your story. I love stories a lot. At some point, I was even some people were calling me a storyteller. That was when I realized, you actually have been passing your messages across through stories, and I didn't even realize, you know. So I like food. I'm not a foodie, but I like food. Right? There's a difference. There's a difference.
Mm, I'm not sure I agree. Potato, potato.
There's a difference. So, and I like, should I say it? I like swallow. I like eba, semo, fufu, you know. So when I go out with people, one of the ways I connect the most, which is very unlikely, but kind of baffles me, is when we go out and you know people are ordering food, and I'm like, do you have swallow? What options do you have? Number one, they'll look at the fine girl. Ah, swallow outside. Chinaza, you. Why? You can order rice. I said, no, it's swallow. Eh, what soup do you have? And shockingly, you know, a lot of people abandoned the rice that they were about to order and ordered swallow because Chinaza ordered it. And we bond over food, right? I was a speaker at a TEDx event in Owerri. Was it in April? And when the speakers were out to eat and all that, they had asked me earlier, "What are you going to eat?" I say it is swallow, vegetable soup, and semo. Thank you very much. They laughed. When we got there, I was very impatient. Where is the food now? Others were being tushed and kind of tushed, but one of the co-hosts for the event, she's also a foodie. She was like, I so love the way you are excited about food. I said, if I'm not excited about food, what else should I be excited about? Food is what I survive on. I don't eat to live, I live to eat. So she laughed, and the food came, we ate, and because of the vibe I brought, because of the human vibe that I brought, I was just myself, you know. Other people felt very relaxed. Those who were uptight became more relaxed. The conversations flowed. Chinaza, remember your tenses. Remember, conversations flowed. Everyone was happy. We just talked and connected. Then after that conversation that night, in subsequent gatherings and meetings, I was just there. You see me, you see food. No, I don't eat too much. I can eat too much, but I just like food, and I native food actually. And it's not me that will come and eat food with cutlery. Eba, semo, fufu with cutlery. Why? That would be a very big disgrace and embarrassment and disrespect to culture. So because of the way I approach food, I have met a lot of people whom I just bonded with. They're like, oh, you're so different. And even when I go to restaurants that they call high class and I tell them I want food, they bring cutlery. I say, just take this thing out. I don't need it. When I eat, some people approach me, oh, I love how down to earth you are, how you're eating this food, like you really love it, like you're really enjoying it. I'm like, I'm enjoying it. It's food and it tastes good. So there's no point actually changing who you are so that you can fit into a certain sphere. Of course, there are places where you might have to make a compromise, but if it is something that there's no threat, why should you wither? Why should you water down who you are? Why should you have to change your identity just so that you can fit into the status quo that is constantly changing? And when that status quo changes, you'll have to change with it as well. This is different from reinvention. This is outright denial of who you are and your essence, outright betrayal of your essence, it is different from reinvention, right? Welcome back, my lady. So, because of the way
Oh
I
my
do my
goodness.
things, I connect with people.
Nigeria
I connect
happened.
with, yeah, we get it. I hope the light comes on soon. So, because of the way I do my things, I'm able to connect deeply with people. I don't have to pretend about anything. I'm myself at any point in time, right? And and the truth is, when you are authentic, you're genuine, your tribe will find you, right? The people that really love your genuine expression are going to find you. But if you are inauthentic, of course, that expression that you're putting out, there are people who are also attracted to it. But over time, you're going to get tired and burnt out because living fake is very, very expensive. Okay. Choma, are you still there? Are we getting any value here? Are you getting any value?
Yes, I
Choma
am.
is one.
I'm getting value.
Choma is Oh, I wasn't even asking you. I was asking the audience. Okay. So I hope your light comes on soon
But I'm
because we
getting
need to
value
do
from you.
productive things. Thank you. Thank you. So let me ask this next question. When do you feel most connected to your essence?
That's a very, very interesting conversation. Very interesting question. I would say when I'm doing the things I truly love, when I'm doing the things that make me happy, the things that make me feel at peace, that make me feel like everything is perfect in the world. That is when I feel that's when I feel most connected to my core. And that's one of those things for me is when I'm writing poetry, right? My most when I'm writing poetry is when I'm at my most vulnerable, when I'm able to just let out my thoughts, be in tune with my emotions. I don't get, my most authentic works when it comes to poetry don't actually make it to social media. I get the whole be vulnerable part, but I guess before we can be vulnerable, we must be ready for the consequences. And at this point in my life, I'm not ready for that. So I keep my main works to myself just for me. It's more like a poetry diary. When I'm able to just pour out how I feel in lines, in poetic lines, I feel most connected to who I truly am. That is it. And when I am worshiping, worshiping. Those two things, leave me with a pen and let me write my heart out. Or leave me with music and let me sing my soul out. Then that's when I feel truly me. Those two times. Because with poetry, I'm not trying to impress anybody. When I write poetry for me, the poetry that doesn't make it social media, I'm not writing the poetry to pass a message to anybody. I'm not trying to express somebody's thoughts through my work because sometimes when you write poetry, you're trying to see, oh, there are people who have certain feelings, but they've never been able to put those emotions into words. So we write poetry that they can relate to. That's what the kind of poetry I'm referring to. I'm referring to the kind of poetry where the things I would not whisper to somebody, I'm able to just say it in my own words. And when I write like that, I just feel, that is when I feel the whole, what's the word? Is it the solar system? They are perfectly aligned. That is how I feel at those times. Or when I'm listening to a Sumi Solar song, I have a favorite of one of our songs is one of my favorites at the moment. That my
Okay.
beloved is the most beautiful. When I sing that
Okay.
song, ah, the world could be on fire, but
And you wouldn't care.
connected to my maker, to my source. You know, many times I think we live in a very woke generation. Is it woke or woke? I don't even know what how to pronounce that particular word.
I don't know how to pronounce actually.
No, that tries to give God the back seat. But I'm Christian unapologetically, and I believe there is a God out there. I believe I was made and created and given a purpose by a being, a superior being. So whenever I sing worship, I feel connected to him, and that is the second most connected time I ever experienced. Like writing poetry and just worshiping God. That is it for me. So it can be different things for different people, but this is it for me.
Wow, that was interesting to know. Hmm. I used to say, I don't, not I used to say, I say it all the time. See, poets, hmm, I give you guys 10 salutes because your minds work in a way that I'm not able to understand. So I write, those songs are different from poems, right? I could write
Mm.
songs that would deeply resonate with somebody. But when it comes to writing poems, what, wait, just and when it is properly written, no, I mean the basic poems that I can actually follow. Uh, I'll, I'll I will appreciate it. But you know the way we have, say when we have arts, visual arts, there are some paintings that you will see and you're like, was this person drunk when they drew this? But you see people buy that particular work for millions of dollars, and you're like, well, I'm trying to find the usefulness. I'm trying to make sense of all these color splashes. But the people that actually understand the value of that, the writing challenge I held last year, the person who won, I was only reading, I was doing deep, 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 but asked me to explain in detail what he wrote. I could not explain it. Thankfully, because I knew that it was not my forte, I got an international poet to judge the poetry category. So when he picked that particular one, I said, okay, oh, my hands are off. You won. And then when actual poets read his work, they're like, this was really, really good. For me, I felt the words were jumbled to an extent, but it made sense to the
Mm-mm.
poet. So
Poetry is layered. It's a language on its own.
it's a language on its own. It should be a, I know it's a genre, but I was saying that, what was I saying that time? It should stand alone on its own without being paired with any, whether prose or drama. It should be in a different world on its own. Poetry, nah. I give you guys the, you know plenty salutes. Thank you for sharing that, sis. So moving on, I have about two or three more questions to ask you, and we'll call it a night. So this is a question you would expect, of course, since we are discussing essence. But I'm going to ask regardless. We are in a very, the world has become smaller, right? The internet has made the world a global village where you can reach anybody at, very easily right now. You can learn from many people. You can see, you can read from people just as their thoughts are coming out. Before now, somebody could write and it will take years before their works are, typed. And if the person lives in the United States and they wrote something, it will take you years before that work gets to you and you get to read it. But because of the internet and social media, we can now access the works of all the people that most of the people that we admire, you know, at a very short notice. As they are writing, we can read. As they're putting out their courses, we can access them. As they're putting out their music, we can listen to them, right? And I was telling one of our last speaker last week. Sorry. I don't know if I'm the one turning or if it is Chioma turning, because sometimes this internet can be funny sometimes. It will give me the illusion that I'm the one that has a stable internet. Meanwhile, I'm the one that has the unstable internet. Okay, please, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Please let me know if you can hear me so I can go ahead. Okay, I think she was the one that went off. Okay, welcome back. Can you hear me, Choma?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, okay. So, I was saying that before now, it would take years before someone's work gets to us. So, if the person is in Nigeria and we're in the United States, if we are continents apart, it might take months, even years, before their works get to us. But thanks to the internet and social media, we now have access to these people's works, their courses, their their music, their writings, their newsletters. So we are constantly learning. And I was telling one of our speakers, I think our last speaker on this conversation series, that the conversation has left, um, it has left these people out of the table who don't know what they want in life. It's like saying, oh, this is good, this is bad. We have left what is good and what is bad. I think that is a very clear line. We are now talking about what is there. This is good, but is it profitable? Is it necessary? Right.
Mm.
So my question is for the people who are genuinely interested in personal development, right? Who are passionate about learning and growing. When you want to grow, there are people that you want to listen to. There's a set of people that you want to learn from. But it becomes a problem when you learn so much from these people that you don't even you take in everything that they say. You want to fashion your life after them, and you're not able to find yourself anymore. So how do people maintain authenticity? How do we maintain our individuality, even as we learn, even as we process, even as we interact with people on this digital space? Because it's the internet. We have trends, we have challenges, we have a lot of things that can distract us, and is not necessarily negative. It can be positive, but it's a distraction in itself. So how do we manage being on the internet and learning and interacting and still maintain our uniqueness and our individuality as human beings?
Okay. Before I would talk about maintaining who you are, I want to say something that might it might seem paradoxical or it might seem contradictory a bit, but that sometimes we are so used to a certain version of ourselves that we think a better version of ourselves is us being fake. We think that improvement is us changing to be a different person. But the thing is that when you grow, you can't be the same person. Growth will change you, right? Growth will
Yes.
change you. Growth will make you transform. I am not the person I was 3 years ago. I am not the Chioma I was 6 years ago. The Chioma I was 6 years ago would not do certain things that I'm doing today. She might even see certain things I'm doing today as a very big taboo. But my understanding and my uh, My comprehension about certain life principles have changed, have evolved. It doesn't mean that I abandoned who I am. I just shed off old knowledge. We need to understand when what is changing is old beliefs that did not favor the higher version of ourselves that was beckoning on us. We need to understand when that is what is happening. Because a lot of times we want to hold on to what is familiar, because what is calling us to a higher version seems strange. Okay, and on the same side, we want to be careful that we don't lose ourselves. I'm trying to balance this. Let me say something. There was a time there's someone I read from a lot. Okay, okay. I Many of you might already know who I'm referring to, so I'm not going to drop names. I admire this person a whole lot. At a point, it was a daily ritual to read from him. I would go and read even his old works, 2017, 20. I would go far back, that I highly doubt if there is any work he has put out here that I've not read yet. But then I wrote something one day, and someone said, "It sounds like this person." That is a compliment, but something about it didn't sit very well with me. It was a compliment to be compared to somebody I admired, but I did not want that to be a regular occurrence. I do not want whenever you see my write up, this person comes to mind. I admire this person like one of the greatest influence in my life in the online space. But I don't want to be a shadow. I want to be Chioma Nnanna. I want that when you read from me, you appreciate me. You appreciate what I put out there. You're not reminded of somebody else. At first, when you're a newbie, this thing might sound like compliments to you. But by the time you begin to want more, you begin to want extra, you begin to understand that even if your mentor really means well for you, he doesn't want you to be a replica of him. He wants you to own who you are, right? You begin to want to be identified as a person, not as a reminder. And so I ensure that going forward, I sounded like Chioma. Of course, I picked a lot from him. I learned a lot about how to express myself in a way that would communicate my message clearly to my audience. But I was not going to be him anymore. Now, if you read my write up, you're saying this is Chioma, even without the hashtag Chioma inspires. So I give that example to draw this point I want to make, that you can, when you're improving, when you're working on yourself, ensure that the improvement is making you a better version of you and not somebody's doppelganger. Mm? And don't be too. Why did I start reading from that person? Because I realized that my write-ups were good, but they were a bit childish, right? They were childish. So I wanted to grow. I wanted to drop the old me. I wanted to improve that thing. So I'm not going to say, oh, this is me, oh, the world has to accept me like this. There are certain rooms you cannot enter as a raw material. See cassava. Who can eat raw cassava? If cassava says, this is how I am, this is how my creator made me. If God wanted me to be better, won't he have made me Gary automatically? He made me a tuber for a reason. Leave me as a tuber. It will be so, who eats raw cassava that has not been cooked? Your mouth will tell you stories, oh. Try it first now when you are not good. Okay, allow me to speak in our local parlance.
Go ahead,
Nobody
please.
eats raw cassava because I heard people say God made me like this. If He wanted me to be this other way, He would have created me like that. No, God knows we need care, but He gave us trees. But those trees have to now be cut down, split, processed, turned into wood, and then still fashioned by carvers. They're made by furniture makers into chairs. There's a process that has to be that has to you have to undergo. And that process, that change, sometimes change is not a bad thing. The fact that you are changing does not mean you are losing you.
Can anybody hear me? Sorry about the breaks in transmission. I'm certain that it's because we're in Nigeria. It's unfortunate that we have
All
to
right.
continue to
Can you
say
see
we
me
are in
here?
Nigeria and all these things happen, but it is what it is now. It's a reality for now. Please go ahead.
I'm so sorry. So, can I know the last thing you heard me say so I know where
The fact, the
I was
fact
cut where I
that
was cut off from.
the fact that you're changing doesn't mean that you're
Okay,
becoming a
thank you,
different
thank
person.
you. The thing with these glitches is that they can throw you off course, and
Yes.
that line of thought that you had can just escape you. But let me get
Yeah.
back to it. So I was saying that the fact that you are losing you, the fact that you are changing, I mean, does not mean that you are losing you. You could be answering a higher call. So don't be afraid of change. Embrace it, but scrutinize it. There are core things that you have to look out for. One, you have to look at so that's the question you really have to ask yourself when change is happening. Is this making you a higher version of you, or are you becoming a version of somebody else? And when you have that question, is there are things I do. I don't just feel at ease doing them. I don't think that's the best example because sometimes change will make you do things that are not comfortable for you. For example, I'm not so good with one-on-one conversations, but because a will I say what's the word? Communicating with people is a skill everybody has to learn. So I've learned it. It brings me out of my comfort zone. Do you know that I'll say something that might shock you all? I'm not a social media person. If not for my work, I can stay a month offline. That is why sometimes when I go offline for a long period of time, I find it very hard to come back. But I remember why I do what I do and I come back here. I can stay offline and I'll be at peace. But I remember the work, the responsibility on my shoulders, and I have to fulfill them. And I come back here because I know for somebody out there in Ibadan, my message might be what they need to change their story. I'm not a social media person, but you see me show up here every day. So it's not my comfort zone. But I know that if I do what I do and I come back here, it will make me a better version of myself.
Are you there?
I was switching between networks, so now I just turned off one and stayed with one so that it doesn't keep bouncing me between the two of them. I had one as a backup plan and it seems like it was bouncing me off. So let me stay with one. I hope and hopefully
Okay.
this one just works for us. Sorry for the hiccups.
Okay. No
All right, so
worries.
I believe there's the trick. I think we should know. Mhm. Know when you're not being true to yourself. Know when this is not taking you closer to your goal, but All you're doing is saying, let me imitate this person. When you're imitating without a reason, then you understand there's a problem. When you're imitating simply because this person did this without understanding the why, if it doesn't align with your goal, if it doesn't take you closer to your destination, that is when you are copying. That is when you are not doing that thing to become a higher version of yourself. You're just becoming somebody's cheap replica. For example, if that boss, you're going to Yenagoa, right? And you see Mr. A enter a bus that is going to Yenagoa. If you enter that same bus, you're not becoming Mr. A's copy. You are going to your destination. You just enter the same bus. But problem go enter. If when Mr. A enters a bus going to Abia and you that is going to Yenagoa, you now follow them and enter that bus. Yawa don gas. Eh? Do you get it now? I think this is the best
Yes.
illustration I've come up with tonight to explain this. When the vehicle you're the
Yeah.
person you're copying, you're just copying for copying sake without checking if it aligns with what you are pursuing, then that change is taking you away from your essence and you need to checkmate it.
Jay-Z will say, and that's on period. That was really good. Thank
You
you
know, for a
so
moment there I
much.
was feeling myself.
You should. You should. I would feel myself if I was also the one saying all those. Thank you so much for sharing. So I have
My
one
friend.
last question. There are several other questions I could have asked, but our time is already fast spent. So um I'll ask you one more question, and then the last final. I just spoke like Joshua. The last question for the night. But before I do that, please permit me to remind our audience that the Essence Conference is coming up on the 1st of June. I'm so excited for this one. I'm excited for so many reasons. One being the value that the participants are going to, get from the conference, from participating. Just for being in that room, I can only imagine. So every day that I wake up, I imagine what the conference is going to look like. What's going to, but instead of seeing what it looks like, I am feeling what it will feel like for the participants. You walk in and there is this warmth, there is this ambience of community, of home. This is where I'm supposed to be. Because here nobody is trying to impress anybody. Even when people were asking me what are we supposed to wear to the conference, I said wear whatever. This is Essence Conference. Wear whatever and come. I don't say you will now go and be naked and tell me that is your essence. Your essence cannot be indecency. But within the conference, comfortable for you, whenever you feel that this is, your essence to us, to the people that you'll be meeting that day, right? So I feel what they're going to feel that day. I imagine the tears that will be falling down people's eyes, because of the insights and the clarity that they will be getting from so many of the sessions. Like I'm the one hosting this, but I cannot wait to sit and listen to all the people that will be speaking. I cannot wait. That day, I'm not going to run around. I'm trying all I can to ensure that everything is taken care of so that nobody will tell me to okay, this one is not taken care of, and I'll not stand up from my chair as a convener and be running up and down. No, it's not happening. I have to sit there and soak in every drop of value that will be you know dropping on that day. So if you have not registered, we'll be having amazing guest speakers. We have Mr. Kochuko Mogo. Whew, if you've listened to him, you know what I'm talking about. He is an enigma. Put simply, he's going to be there to share how to incorporate your essence for outstanding results in your business, in your life, in your career. It's going to be beautiful. We're going to be having the amazing John Obidi, our daddy J.O. We'll be having the wonderful YBB. my heart is pounding. We'll be having the amazing Ijoma Dicta. We'll be having Edwin Edewo. We'll be having Salem King, and yours truly also be there to share just a snippet of some things I want to share, but which I will be sharing more during the Essence Bootcamp. So if you've not registered, just head on to www.essenceconference.com to get your ticket. If you can also afford to pay for some persons, because some persons cannot even afford to be at the conference. If you can afford it, you want to sponsor some tickets, also send me a DM on Facebook, on Instagram, or you can send an email to vichinasafavor@gmail.com. All right, we have two ticket tiers, or three, let me say. The first one is the standard ticket, which is just 5,000 naira. This gives you access to the event virtually. If you want to participate virtually, this gives you access to the event. Okay, but you will also be getting event recordings. All the people that get the standard tickets will be getting access to the event, whether virtually or physically, and be getting event recordings. Then, if you pay for the premium ticket, which is 15,000 naira, you'll be getting all that is in the premium standard ticket, but you'll also be getting a copy of my book, the second edition of my book, Dear Young One. Like, I don't talk about that book. I have to learn marketing from Chioma. I don't talk enough about that book, right? The value that is loaded in that book. When I sent it to Warrital to edit,
I've read the book, so
I
I
was
can
telling
tell
Mr.
you
Fuller,
there
this
is
book will not
value
give me
loaded.
anything. When I sent it to Warrital to edit, they came back and said there's no work that needs to be done on this book. You finished work here. Chinaza is you're so intelligent that the value in this book, even the man that went through it to look for errors, they got soaked, you know, into the book. So if you're a young person here, and young does not mean 12 years old, 13 years old. If you are young, I'm 27, I'm young. If you're 35 and you identify as young, you are young. If you're 40, the book is written to young people between 18 and 30, but even outside of that range, it is still very valuable to you. Okay, it's 10,000 naira if you want to get the book, but if you pay for the conference, you're getting a complimentary copy at the event when it is launched. Then, if you want to be a part of the Essence,
Okay. Um, I think there's a little technical issue backstage because Favor is not here right now, but I'm sure in a couple of minutes or seconds she'll be back here with us. And I really hope I'm not just talking and she's actually on live and then I'm speaking over
okay,
her.
sorry, I think my own network
Yeah, I
now
think she's
took
back.
me out. Sorry about that. So sorry. So if you want to, can anybody hear me? Chuma, can you hear me? Can
Yes, I
somebody in
can.
the
I can hear you
comments
clearly.
please say something?
Yes, you're loud and clear, Favor. You're loud and clear.
Can you hear
I can
me?
hear you loud and clear. Yes, I can.
Okay, you can hear me loud and clear. Okay. So, if you want to be part of the Essence Bootcamp taking place on the 2nd of June, this is where, will take you this off. I don't know what I want to do with my life.
And Nigeria is happening again. Hey guys, I know Favor is trying to get back in, so just sit tight and give her a few seconds. Like we saw the last time, she was back in record time. So I'm sure she's working and doing everything possible to be back here with us. And she's back.
I am back. I hope it doesn't throw me out. Just out of nowhere. I don't even know why it's taking me up. My network is stable here. Okay, sorry about that. So if you want to be part of the Essence Bootcamp, it's taking place on the 2nd of June with Misuko as our trainer, like for 6 hours, let me say 4 hours minimum. We are going to be in the same room with exercises. If you don't get clarity, you are not going from that place. And it's assured that you're going to gain clarity of vision, of path, of purpose on that day, right? Right. You're going to define clearly what your essence is and what path your life has to take so that you can live a fulfilling and satisfying life, not just making money and you know it's just money that you have. You are so rich that it's only money that you have. You want to be rich and happy and have peace at the same time. We can have the best of both worlds, right? And it's possible. It's possible. So if you want to be part of that, it is 50,000 naira. Some persons have gotten their tickets, and I cannot wait to have you on also. These are the gladiators, as I call them, that will be at the Essence conference. If you miss this conference, if you miss this conference, see Salem King there, you see Edirin Edewo, you see Ijoma Dicta. She will be live in Lagos. Salem King will be live at the event, to share. And then also think of the possibility, the opportunity to connect with people so this is different. It's not a get rich money, a get rich quick program where people are just coming to make money. Anybody you see at the Essence conference is somebody that is intentional on a fundamental level to better their lives, right? Because Essence is not the happening, it's not the regular topic that people are interested in. So anybody that you see who pays to be at the Essence conference is somebody you want to connect with. So the quality of connection you'll be getting at the Essence conference is different. Okay. So if you want to be a part of this in Lagos, I look forward to seeing you. Just go on to www.essenceconference.com. The reason we had to make the website ready is so that all your questions will be easily answered, right? All the information that you need, all your frequently asked questions, most of them are answered. And then if you need any other question, you are free to ask me. Like someone asked me earlier today if the standard ticket is only for virtual attendance. I told her no, it is for virtual and for physical attendance at the same time. It just gives you access to the event and the recordings. Okay, anybody that registers is getting access to event recordings. That is baseline. Okay. Then, if you want to register, you can pay through Seller and get automatically added to the community, or you can pay into the account details showing on your screen there and send your proof to ticket.essence@gmail.com. Please don't forget the dot there. It is very important. If you miss it, you'll be sending to a different person, okay? Tickets.essence@gmail.com, and our team will be there to confirm your payment and add you to our group. Okay, that is basically it for this. I wouldn't be wasting your time further, not wasting though, but um, we are rounding off already. So, Chioma, let me know what legacy would you want to leave? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can hear you clearly.
Okay. What legacy do you want to leave as a result of you staying true to your essence?
Hmm. This is one thing that drives my actions. One thing I want to be remembered for. One thing I want to trans. One thing I want to pass whenever I do anything I do is that I want someone out there to see me express myself and say that they can do whatever they put their mind to. I want them to see impossibility as a mirage. I want them to begin to see that I want to pass across a message, a lifestyle of going after what we want, irrespective of the challenges that we see. All right, because I do. I do things, right? I do great things. Please let me not be humble. It doesn't just suit me. Okay, I do great things. Let me, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, I can't hear you now. Okay, but you can hear me, right? Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay. So I was saying that I do amazing things and it doesn't all come smoothly. I face challenges, I surmount them, and I make things happen. And that is what I want every person who sees me live up my life to believe or to learn from. I want them to see that, I want them to believe that whatever dream they have, they can make it happen. It doesn't matter where they come from, it doesn't matter their background, it doesn't matter if they have support, it doesn't matter if they have all they need yet. But with what they have, they can actually achieve great things. They can achieve great things. That we have so much more in us. We have so much working for us than what is not working for us. The odds are in our favor. It might not look like it, but once you start, I like, oh, I like when I hear success stories, especially when they are stories of people who had very humble beginnings. Okay, I like when I hear those kind of stories because they show what is possible. They show that when a man says yes, his she says yes too. So when I express myself, I want people to see that impossible is nonsense and that the world is our stage. I want people to see that we don't do ourselves a favor when we limit what we're capable of. I want people to understand that dreaming small favors nobody. Dreaming small favors nobody. And one of the things that drives me to really express myself, to do what I do, to push myself and stretch myself and see what my full capacity looks like is because I am not a self made person. I am somebody who has been heavily invested in by men. In my journey to where I am today, I have had several people give me a helping hand. I have had several people stretch out their hands to support me. And so, whenever I think about how much investment has gone into making the Chioma Nnanna you see, I understand that I cannot afford to disappoint them or afford to disappoint myself. Okay, I understand I cannot afford to disappoint them or disappoint myself. I have been through a lot to get here. So why give up now? It would be a great disservice to the 2019 me, who against all odds did all she did. It would be a great disservice to the 2020 me, 2021 me, 2022, 2023 me, and the past few months of 2024 me to now say I want to throw in the towel. I understand that so many people have thrown their weight behind me. To give up now would be disappointing to them and disappointing to me. And so I push on to see what my best looks like, to see what they saw in me. There is something they must have seen to support me. And when I look in the mirror, trust me, it is not a sense of I am better than somebody. It's not a sense of superiority complex. It's a sense of I see who I am and I acknowledge who I am. When I look in the mirror, I see someone who would be doing the world a great disservice if if she doesn't own who she is. If she decides to copy somebody, I would be doing a great disservice. Just like we have a farmland, just like we have food we eat, we have carbohydrate, protein, mineral, we have different classes of food, right? Imagine if all the world had to eat carbohydrates. You have kwashoko, right?
Yeah.
So when you express yourself authentically, you are adding to the flavor and the beauty of what the world needs. We cannot all be egg. We cannot all be water. It is when we own who we are truly that we truly bring value to the table. It is the beauty of life is the variety. The
Mm.
beauty of life is variety, is the dynamics of who we are. So when I express myself truly, I'm showing someone that they can be themselves truly too, and they can go for whatever they want. Those are the two messages I want to pass across. That you can be you and scale to whatever height. You can own who you are. Stand by your values. Stand by what you believe in. Stand by what you cherish. Stand by how you want to express yourself and still reach those great heights
The mic, please.
and to
Sorry.
inspire it. Okay?
Yes. The mic was
Okay.
far away from your mouth. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
And to inspire them to be and to inspire young people. Like I'm very passionate about young people. I'm a young person myself, so I know the challenges that we face. These things are not alien to me. They are things I face myself. So when I surmount them, I know that somebody somewhere is struggling with those things too. So I want to be a beacon of light that nah, there's nothing you cannot achieve if you put your mind to it. That is why I still show up as my true self. That is the message that I want to pass across at the end of the day, the summary. Just there's nothing that you cannot achieve if you put your mind to it. Because in the streets of Lagos, the streets of Port Harcourt, I've seen so many young people with great potentials. But if they're just exposed to the same information I'm exposed to, they can do amazing things. I might not be able to reach all of them one on one, but just by using my social media platform or by living my best life. I've seen people who say, because I saw you do this, because I have seen you juggle all these things together, I believe I can also excel in doing these things. Sometimes it's the things that you don't even know people are paying attention to that inspires them. I used to think that maybe it is a particular thing that would inspire people, but I realized that it is just me living my life. The fact that I'm able to be me, someone that looks like me. We have, like you say, your tribe will find you. I look a certain way. I hold a certain kind of beliefs. So people who are like me, they used to have this certain ideas that it would be hard to do well in the influence space on social media. But we are breaking those barriers to say that you can look like this, you can hold your beliefs strong, you can be different and still live your best life. And to me, it's the greatest privilege to be able to inspire a soul. The greatest privilege. The greatest privilege. To turn somebody from the downside to the upside, right? Or how do they put that? To be a small part, to be a small part of someone's huge success story, like Steve Harris would say, that is one of life's greatest honor.
Wow. I have nothing to add to that. Thank you. Thank you. So in 1 minute, I'm particular about the 1 minute because you already almost you are like me. You are like me. And it's a problem. It's a problem. It's a problem because we'll have a conversation that is 4 hours long and we'll continue going. Because me, I like to take my time to answer my questions. Hey.
Mm.
So, but let's consider people's time and let them go and get ready for Monday. Yeah. So, that we have a culture here where we ask the previous speaker to drop a question for the next speaker, for the next guest. So, our previous guest dropped a question for you, and I'm asking you that. But before I ask you, I'd like you to drop a question for our next guest. What question would you want them to answer? I'll write it down and ask them.
Okay, I can write it down later.
No, you tell me now, so I write it down so that during their session I can ask them.
Okay. Okay, I would say my question would be, what has been the most challenging aspect of owning your authenticity? Because being true to yourself comes with its own challenges. So, what has been the most challenging aspect of owning your authenticity?
Mm, okay. So while I write that down, let me ask you the question that was dropped for you.
Okay.
I please. In 1 minute, let me know if you were to advise your younger self of 15 years ago. He was particular about the 15 years. Okay. If you were to advise your younger self of 15 years ago, so you subtract 15 years from your age, you know how old you were. What would what advice would you give that would make his or her life more impactful and purposeful 15 years ago?
Okay, so you're particular about the 15 years. So let me do the math. By Tuesday, I'm going to turn 24. So we like to use my current age. I'm 23 now. So by Tuesday, I'll be 24.
Yeah, well, you can say 24, it's fine.
So 24 minus 15. Please help my math. Help me with my maths. How old would
Wow.
I be
So
by
I think
then?
you were 8 years old or
8 years
9 years old.
old.
9.
Oh, okay. Do I remember much about my 8 years? Okay, 8 years that I was in primary school. I was in primary school. Oh, okay. Okay. What
Let's
advice
say
would I
9 years
give to
old. You
my
were 9 years old.
what advice would I give to my younger self? I would say don't take the losses to heart. You did not lose because you're a bad person. The fact that you lost does not mean that you did not work hard because you know you did. Okay? I would say when you lose, leave it fast. Do not take it too personal. Just go on. Just move on fast to the next thing. You're still an amazing person, and let that always be at the back of your mind. Do not let your losses define you. Okay? You are not a loser because you lost once. You are not a terrible child or a terrible person because you feel you by losing you're disappointing everyone that believed in you. No, you just lost. Besides, at that age, you were competing with people who were way older than you, higher in class than you. So you were trying, right? So I would have told her to just let it go, pick your lessons, and move on fast. Move on fast. Because girl, can't you see your next moves? You were still amazing, but that loss you just trade you for way too long than it should have, and it's made you it's although you flew, there was too much baggage. There was too much baggage that your little shoulder should not have been carrying. You would have flown faster and higher. Why would you be flying with the sparrows where you could have been soaring like an eagle, right? So your better could have been best. Okay, Nigeria is happening again. I think these days, even if your network is stable, it just still knocks you off somehow. Oh, Favor is back.
Wow. So in simple terms, don't be emotionally attached to your failures.
Yes.
Just move on. I mean, not that you could just move on because the failure could actually hurt, but don't be emotionally attached to it.
Don't let it
You know,
define you or
feel
make you see
whatever you
yourself
need
as
to feel.
less.
Don't let it define you. Yeah. Thank you so much, Chioma. It's been
My pleasure.
it's been an
Please, before
awesome
I want to say
conversation.
something.
Okay.
Everyone, please get
Okay.
your SS conference ticket. All right, please get your conference ticket. This is a conference we don't get to see in Nigeria in our face, in our corner of the world regularly, right? We see a lot of money making conference, leadership conference, but we don't see conferences that talk about us connecting to our core. So now that we have something like a first of its kind, please participate in it. If you're not in Lagos and you cannot afford to transport yourself down here, participate in the virtual one and you're going to really, really benefit from it. If I'm in Lagos, I'm going to be there live physically. If I'm not, because of my movement right now, it's very, very shaky. I will definitely join the online session. So this is me saying, get your tickets. It's an investment worth making. An investment worth making. And thank you for putting together this and for getting us the best possible speakers that could have lined up for this kind of conference.
My network is wonderful. All of a sudden, I can't even explain it. So Choma is not here. I would have loved her to tell us how to connect with her. But on Instagram, she bears the name Boring Ads. I was going to ask her why she chose that name on Instagram, but she's not here. So on Instagram, she bears Boring Ads, BORING underscore ads. ADS. Then on Facebook, of course, she's Chioma Nnanna. Even if you just type coach with results, you're going to see her name. Chioma is amazing. You want to connect with her. You want to, get into what she's doing. She is the coach with results for a reason. Okay. Sylvie says, I get my own already from Benin Republic. Yes, she's coming for the conference and she's coming for the training also. I celebrate your quest for improvement, Sylvie. Thank you so much for registering. I hope to see you at the conference, okay, and during the training. So I just cannot wait to see the results you'll be able to birth after this encounter because it's an encounter. Both the conference and the training, they are both encounters, right? And I'm excited for everybody who will be a part of that. Let me not take your time further. Thank you everyone for being a part of this. If you've not registered, go and get your ticket at www.essenceconference.com. It is going to be impactful, powerful, transformative, and you want to be part of this revolution. I call it the Essence Revolution. You want to be a part of it. It is the maiden edition, and we want to take it as 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 powerfully. We want to take over as powerfully as we can. You can't not be there, right? You cannot not be there. Don't wait to be told about it. Don't be told, oh, it was wonderful. It will not make that much sense, right? Or you say, okay, after the conference, I'm going to get the recordings. The recordings will be not less than 50,000 once the conference is over. But if you register, even for as low as 5,000 naira, you get access to the event and you get access to event recordings because you can't even soak in all the value that will be shared on the day of the conference at once. You would need to watch again, take what was said again so that you can digest at every point in time. Okay. Thank you everyone that has registered for the conference or for the training. Thank you for everyone who has joined this conversation. It's 2 hours plus. This has to be one of the longest conversations we've had on this show. But you are here, it's 20 23 of you. Thank you so much. This means a lot to me, and I hope that you're able to get value. I told you that Chioma Nnanna is amazing. She's loaded with value, and you got a, a taste of that. And trust me, a lot more reside where the letter that she shared with us today came from. So you want to connect with her and be a part of what she's doing. Okay. Now I'll say goodbye. I will see you next week. Same time, same station. It is Essence O'Clock, and I cannot wait to, you know, see you experience this change and experience this revival that we are bringing your way. It is one of a kind, no cap. So I'll see you next time at the Essence Conference Conversations. But during the week, we'll be bringing you updates about the conference. Tosin and Nima Shaun, our volunteers lead, I celebrate you. Thank you for being here. And every other person, Oladimeji Moses, Sylvie, Sophia, you've been very active, Sophia, and I've not seen your name before. Thank you for joining. Anointed Ikedi, it's also good to see you. You've been active as well. Thank you. Uchichuku, Rachel, Okoli. It's good to have you. Judith, it's good to have you. Victory, Uzoma. Thank you so much for joining. Nathan Lucky, thank you so much for joining. I don't know if Sam Harvard is still watching. If you're still watching, sir, thank you so much for always joining our sessions. It means a lot to me, even much more than you can imagine. Thank you so, so much, everyone. I hope you have a very wonderful night's rest and have a very beautiful week ahead. All right. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Remain good, remain kind, and remain connected, to your core. I hope you've gotten that. If not, let's do that at the conference. Thank you very much.